We're going to call to order Reinvestment Zone number 16, City of Houston Board of Directors meetings called for April 28, 2021. But before we go too much farther, we're going to have everybody identify themselves, and we'll start with the board members. So Lisa Simon.
Here.
She's present. Dot Cunningham.
Present.
Now I'm running into trouble because I can't tell who else is on. Wait a second. Let me look at my participants.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have sent you your cheat sheet by now.
Yeah, well, let me see if it showed up.
Kendall Miller's here.
Ah, there it is. And I'm disappointed. Okay, we got it.
They didn't believe in
Okay.
you, Steve.
Sorry.
That's okay. Robert Clay is
Thank you.
present.
We'll talk soon.
Ethel
Bye-bye.
Johnson. No Ethel?
She was
Kendall
just
Miller?
here.
I thought I saw her.
Yeah, Ethel was here 2 seconds ago.
Okay, good.
Is that-
Kendall Miller.
Here.
Judson Robinson. I don't see Judson on yet. Lisa Simon's already acknowledged her presence. Louis Sklar. Not yet. And Mary Carmen Tamez, I think we saw her.
Present.
All right, excellent. Okay. So now we're going to do the staff member roll call. If we can have the Uptown staff identify themselves, please.
Andrew Jarrett. John Breeding.
Carolyn McCain,
Stephen Wood.
Betsy Kirkgard,
Mike Williams.
Shannon Daniels,
Bob Effington.
Amy Escalante, Delia Misbah, Kalia Garvin, Nat Bunny Sar.
Josh Flowers.
Ethel Johnson's on the line now. My apologies. I got disconnected. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, someone said they'd seen you, so we knew you'd be back. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's the Uptown staff. And then if there are members of the public on the phone, please identify yourselves.
Jessica Holobeck with ABHR is here.
Okay.
Ashley Campbell with the Office of Council Member Abby Kamen in District C.
Right. Any other members of the public?
Who's that?
Okay, so again, the rules of it, if you're going to speak, please state your name, and everybody mute your phones if you're not speaking. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from the March 24th, 2001 meeting. I'd like to request a motion approving the minutes.
Lisa Simon, make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Mary Carmen Tamez, I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, all opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're now going to suspend reinvestment zone number 16, and we will call to order the Uptown Development Authority meeting. So we're going to go through the process one more time. We're going to have a board member roll call. When I read your name, please indicate if you're present. Robert Clay.
Present.
Dot Cunningham. Dot, I know you're here.
Go back to picture.
I didn't hear you. I'm present.
Thank you. Ethel Johnson.
Present.
Steve Lerner is present. Kendall Miller.
Here.
Judson Robinson. Louis Sklar. Lisa Simon.
Present.
Mary Carmen Tamez.
Present.
Wonderful. Thank you. We'll have the staff member roll call again. So Uptown staff, you'd please identify yourselves.
Andrew Jarrett. John Breeding.
Carolyn McCain,
Stephen Wood.
Betsy Kirkgard,
Mike Williams.
Shannon Daniels,
Bob Effington.
Amy Escalante, Delia Misbah, Kalia Garvin, Nat Bunny Sar.
Josh Flowers.
Okay. And if that's everyone from Uptown, I would like for any members of the public to please identify themselves.
Steve, this is Louis Sklar. I'm not a member of the public, but I got here a few minutes late.
Oh, good. Thank you, Louis. Glad you're with us.
I'm not a member of the public either, but I'm here.
Good.
All right.
Wow.
Excellent.
That's
We have a pretty full house. That's terrific. Thank you, guys. Public roll call. Any members of the public, identify yourselves, please.
so cool.
Jessica Hollebeck with ABHR. Sorry, I announced myself on mute the first time.
And we missed you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we had one other person from the public.
Councilman Ms. Campbell.
You're on mute, Ashley.
Okay. Moving on. Do we have any questions or comments from the public at this time?
No one has signed up to speak.
Okay, wonderful. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the March 24th, 2021 meeting. If I could have a motion to that effect, please.
So move with Dot Cunningham.
Thank you, Dot. Second.
Yes. Mary Carmen Temez, I'll second.
Right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. The motion carries. All right. Next order of business is we're going to turn to Shannon Daniels. Scroll to page 3. She's going to review invoices and for pay. Shannon?
Thank you, sir. Yes, page 3 is a summary for the invoices that we're submitting for your approval. This is for services performed during February and March. The first section is the reimbursements to the management district for professional services. Then we have one invoice to be reimbursed to the management district for the POB project that is winding down. This is for some wrap-up work. And then the next section are for those UDA contracts and work orders that we're presenting for your approval. You can see those listed there. Primarily, it is for professional services for the Memorial Park project and a little bit with the drainage project, to the tune of $415,000, just over. And then for those construction payments, we have a small invoice for Pfeiffer and Son and the Tellefson invoice for just over $2 million. All in all, for professional services, reimbursements, and construction payments, just over $2.4 million submitted for your review. Pages 4 through 6. It's just a little bit more detail on the services and the contract on which those are peer. And are there questions or concerns?
Anybody have any questions, concerns?
No, sir.
Okay, we do need to approve them if there are no questions. So could I have a motion to approve the invoices and the payment, please?
Lisa Simon, I approve the payments, please.
Okay,
Robert Clay, second.
great. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Let's see. We have our MWDBE report. Again, we'll turn to Shannon.
Okay, thank you. Starting on page 7, we have the MWDBE SBE expenditures. The top section of this is for inception to date. You can see that we've achieved 40% for professional services over the life, and then 24% for construction. The bottom section looks at this fiscal year to date, where we are at 60% for professional services and just over 46% for construction. The following pages kind of outlines those payments to the different vendors and their subs. You can see that, and then we even have a couple of graphs that gives you that information in a graphical depiction. Are there questions or concerns regarding the DBE information? As informational only, is that correct? Nothing to be approved.
Mr. Chairman, not to steal, but I will pile on Shannon and later Andrew's comments here. The amount of minority business work that we have done in construction this year, it's not insignificant to mention it's 46%. So.
No, that is not insignificant, that's for sure. And to be commended.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to move on to our next order of business?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our continuing disclosure policy. I don't know, Stephen, are you or Jessica going to take this one on?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have Jessica take us through the amended and restated.
Okay, great.
Policy.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This starts on numbered page 14, but I would suggest you go ahead and scroll down to page 19. That's where the change is. Your continuing disclosure policy describes all of the obligations and steps that your consultants take to maintain your annual filing as required by the covenants you've made when you sold bonds. We're required to keep certain financial information up to date, as well as if there are any material events that occur during the year, the authority would be required to make a filing with the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Recently, the rule that governs these disclosures, Rule 15C212, was amended to add material events numbers 15 and 16. They are the last two bullet points on page 19. Essentially, if the authority engages it or has a financial obligation that would affect the holders of the bonds, we would need to disclose that. Likewise, if there is a default or other issue with any that reflect financial difficulties, we would have to disclose that. That's all that's changing with this policy. The rest of it is identical to the policy that you adopted several years ago. Can I answer any questions? It's a little bit dry and boring, I know.
Jessica,
thank you for listening.
Jessica, you mentioned page 19. Is this an entirely new page 19, or is there specific things here that are new?
On page 19, it's the last two bullet points. I realize that they're not numbered, but those are bullet points numbers 15 and 16. Those two are what we are adding.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I believe, Stephen, that what's required is that the board adopt this and the changes that Jessica has done. Jessica, is it because the rules have changed or because we just did a major issue for affordable housing?
It's because the rules changed.
Okay.
The 15C212 added two additional material events that would require our filing. And those are the two, and this is just verbatim taken out of the rule. Those last two bullet points that you see on page 19.
Okay, and is there anything that by the inclusion of those two things, is there any action that we're now required to take that we have not otherwise taken?
No, sir.
Okay.
You are in compliance with your continuing disclosure obligations.
Great. So do I have a motion to approve the revised disclosure policy?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We're now going to review a revised investment policy and listed qualified brokers. Shannon, Stephen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'd like to present to you and have your approval of the updated investment policy for the Uptown Development Authority. Page 21 is an overview of the sections, and I try and note those things that we've changed. If you'll note that section 4.01 where we have the list of broker dealers and financial institutions. That's the only change we're making at this time. We'd like to update that section to add Texas Capital Bank as a approved list of financial institution for the authority to do business with. That is the only change, and you can see that highlighted on page 26 of the policy, where we've added Texas Capital Bank.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that?
Mr. Chairman, I'd also add that I believe that we last considered this in November of 20. And so we're doing this a bit earlier, and we're trying to get it in sync with also the management district.
Okay.
And then we are, Texas Capital Bank was part of our financing, and we want to add them in case we have to do some additional business with Texas Capital as we go through the years.
Okay. May I have a motion adopting the revised investment policy, please?
Lisa Simon, I make a motion to adopt these revisions.
Thank you. Second, please.
Robert Clay, second.
Okay, thank you, Robert. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. And now we're going to get an update on projects. John, Andrew?
All right, we will take you through. We're going to, we have 3 projects that we're going to talk about. I want to address Mr. Clay's favorite project on Post Oak Lane. Interestingly enough, this is a fairly simple project to widen Post Oak Lane just north of San Felipe between Dolliver to Tilbury. The purpose of that was adding a signalized intersection at Longmont, not only that provides some access onto South Post Oak Lane, but it might have the benefit of slowing cars down on that nice straight stretch of road that people tend to speed. We'll be adding also East Side Sidewalk. The project is pretty simple, but the problem has been that we've had an incredible string of problems with utilities. We can build a street. CenterPoint Energy has to agree to take their lines down, and after CenterPoint takes their lines down, then we get the fiber off, and then we pull poles. So we actually completed the work to provide the conduit for CenterPoint Energy to take their cables down in December of 19. And so we have been working with them through fits and starts and changes of personnel and hurricanes and cold weather, but we are making progress. As you can see, we ultimately became frustrated with the lack of movement and said, let's go ahead and pour our concrete and install our signals and leave the leave outs there so we can take out the poles, come back in and patch it up later. It appears that we're going to, we have the last fiber optic company to come off the line. That was one remaining. No one would claim it, and finally we discovered who it was, and it was one of the groups that we're dealing with, but literally there's been so much consolidation in the fiber optic companies. They didn't even, they didn't have a record of it for a while. At least that's what they told us. So that's all coming down. As you can see, we're starting to make progress to get the overhead utilities down. We're still hoping to have the project completed by July of this year. We're going to sit down with folks at Belfiore and come to an agreement on what we want to do with sidewalks in front of that development. And that's really the last issue. And we'll be setting up a meeting with them next week. Any questions about the Post Oak Lane project? I'm going to ask Mike Williams if he would talk about our West Loop greening project that the district actually is leading on as our kind of contribution to the landscaping entire West Loop that TxDOT's going to do. But I'm going to ask Mike to go over this project very briefly. Mike?
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. As John pointed out, it's a district project. We went last month to get approval to enter into a contract with Landscape Arts, who is doing this project for us. As you can see, it's mostly landscaping irrigation from Uptown Park Boulevard to Buffalo Bayou. Budget and construction contract, $265,000. We issued notice to proceed in early April, and completion is October. It's going to be much sooner than that. To date, which has only been a few weeks, we have got Landscape Arts has got City of Houston building permit. They've performed all the utility locates. They've got the TxDOT traffic control permit. The stormwater pollution prevention plan notice has been acquired. They've done a little work as far as mowing the site and cleaning up weeds and things like that. They've got a small chain link fence and fabrication. And we had a very important meeting with Villa d'Este. We're coordinating the irrigation system with them since they're providing the water. And very important picture on the top, which is the porta potty, which provides our guys relief as they build this project. I'll take any questions. Anybody has anything?
Yeah, is there supposed to be an image on the screen other than a white page that says projects on it?
Yes. You should, hold on a second. You should be seeing photographs.
Yeah, we're not. Justin, good guy. I was wondering the same exact thing and didn't want to stop him.
Hold on a second.
Hey,
We're working on it here. Now do you see something?
There we go.
Yeah.
So now you understand why Mike mentioned porta potties. Very quickly, I'll take you. I'm trying to go backwards and it won't go backwards. All right, hold on. So here's the view of the project again from Uptown Park Boulevard to Buffalo Bayou, and then our budget. Here are the things that he went over that we've completed. Projects just kicked off in the last 2 weeks. And then photographs here. It's a small project, but anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to respond. If not, I'll turn it over to Andrew.
Thank you, John. Here's our view for the next, we're anticipating in 18 months. Can everybody see is it coming through now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So progress in the tunnels has been significant. There's a drone shot looking back to the dawn Uptown. And that speaks for itself. Here's a picture of the structural fill going in and the waterproofing. And then here's a close-up of the waterproofing. You're seeing we've got caulking in the joints, water, bentonite clay at the tunnel surface, another membrane. We've got gravel behind that, another membrane, French drains in the gravel, excuse me, and then the overfill clay on the back of that. So it should be very waterproof. Oculus is the center area between the two tunnels, and then the north channel is coming out of the southwest side of the golf course. Here's our stabilization in the channel. It looks really nice. Here's the foundations in the center for what we're calling the critter crossing.
Will be between the two sets of tunnels.
Right in between the two sets of tunnels. There's new culverts going in. These will be covered. You'll see 3 holes. They're skylights, believe it or not.
For the critters.
That is for the critters. The critters will not enter this long of a culvert without light.
And we interviewed the critters and we know that.
Exactly.
We interviewed and we did a poll.
We did a focus group actually.
So 50 feet was about as far as they would go without lights.
You could put some dead chickens in there and I bet you they'd go there without light. Also, for what we paid for this structure, I bet you we could bring a whole lot of coyotes from anywhere we wanted to come and every year and bring them there, but I'm playing. Keep going.
That's true. All right, continue on.
SLT, the trails, they're the dot walks. This will be your new trail in about 2 months.
Hopefully you'll see it in your tours.
That's right. Here's the new SLT on the north side. You'll see the lamp going in. The lamp fixtures will be over the next month.
Great.
Memorial Drive, we started on the east side and we're working west. So this is your new Memorial Drive going through the tunnels. And then there's a long shot here.
And
Nice shot
what
looking
is
on
the
east
current extension? How far are you? Have you made the west tunnels yet?
We have made it to the Oculus from the east side. So
Okay.
we're from the east, far east to
You're
the
in between.
center. That's right. And then here's a nice trail that you'll be able to walk in. It's open now. And this goes around the prairie on the south side. The fence will be gone once the prairie is dug out and ready. There's a nice view there. You'll have the tunnels in your background up into the north, prairie, and you'll go over the diverter. So this will be a nice, really nice trail. East Commuter is the all-weather concrete path that's going to follow the mountains all the way east to west and follow Memorial. And then the prairie is the 550,000 cubic yards of dirt that we're moving to go over the mountains. Project's on budget. We anticipate to be either 70.4 or slightly under budget when we finish. And right now we're about 6 weeks ahead. And as John stated earlier, MWDB is about 46%.
The construction funds today, but we expect that by the completion, it will be back down around
33.4, and we may get some uplift in that as Tricon head walls may
spend a little bit more.
Spend a little more there. There's your soft cost or budget breakdowns, beginning construction, our current estimates. And you'll notice the contingency line as we come back to this board and asking you for a little more contingency to move that out back into the project for construction.
It is likely that it is certain that we will come in our May meeting and ask for a approval to use some of this contingency. We've worked through the review and design, actually at the end of the tunnels, how that tapers down. We really, in order to satisfy all the engineers, are going to have to do we're going to have to put more steel and more concrete in it. It's going to cost more money. This is actually, I believe, the projected number incorporates the actual taking that money out that we're going to ask our board to do.
That's correct.
In our May meeting. So we'll certainly send that information out early and be glad to discuss it. But we've had a very thorough investigation of, can we save money? Can we do it more economically? And in the end, to really meet the standards which we're setting with the rest of the project, we're going to have to strengthen that caps to those tunnels. So you'll see more of that, but it will actually reflect the numbers you see on the right-hand side.
That's correct.
Any questions? Oh, here's the good stuff.
So we finished the main arches. SLT was in July this year. Head walls again. We've lost a little time there, so they're in August now. All traffic on the new Memorial eastbound in September, October, and then everything should be open on Memorial by Thanksgiving is our target. And we had a dip in the road that our chairman asked us to take a look at.
And I want you to know, I've driven over it before and it's very much improved, and all your constituents, thank you.
That's our objective.
My car, thanks you.
We appreciate it.
It went from terrible to very nice. Thanks.
We should have had it right the first time, but we got it.
Well, that's okay.
Mr. Chairman, as a part of status of the projects, before you right now is a schedule for people that are signing up to do tours of the arch, of the, I guess, the land bridge and the other improvements in the area. And I think if you wanted to go check out the Clay family Eastern Glades, or even some this new sport complex improvements, we got 3 days here that people are signing up. And if you haven't signed up and would like to, if you'll respond to Amy about your preference, and quite honestly, if we need another date because you can't make it but you still want to do it, we can work out schedules. So I just wanted to put this up and let everybody know that we are ready to go. And I think some of you have signed up, not every one of you.
Thank you so much for making this happen. I can't wait.
And
Yeah, it's terrific.
And in response to a couple of our board members early, we will schedule within the next 10 days a trip. But give me 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, a trip from the Northwest Transit Center along Post Oak Boulevard into the West Park Transit Center, and we can talk about the Post Oak Boulevard BRT project.
Wonderful.
The award-winning Post Oak Boulevard. Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else for you.
Okay, then we are going to, thank you very much. We're going to recess the Uptown Development Authority meeting. We're going to reconvene Reinvestment Zone number 16 meeting, and we're going to adjourn Reinvestment Zone number 16 meeting and the Uptown Development Authority. Thank you to everybody for participating. In a nice full house. Great report. Much appreciated. Thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
Thanks.